We bring in our first guest, David Nixon, former NFL guy, BYUtv analyst, and a BYU football great. David, let's start with things that matter most. Jerem's mustache. Have you seen it in the past 2 weeks? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate Jerem Jordan's mustache?
Yes, I've seen it, and it is hideous.
Nothing. I didn't learn anything with that comment. I already knew that.
Okay.
I respect the hustle with the mustache hustle, but something's got, you got to put some Rogaine or something on it. You got to get some more hair growth in there, Jerem.
It's fake hustle. Fussle. It's fussle.
David Nixon on BYU Sports Nation. We're obviously talking a lot about preseason projections and the hype machine that goes into it. David, to you, why or why not are preseason projections in college football an important thing?
Look, I think they are an important thing, and for various reasons. One, for players, it's something fun to look at, obviously. This is, your
Wait. You're saying players read this stuff? I thought they ignored the media, David.
No. Well, I'm about to get to my next point, which is about the coaches. But as far as players go, of course we look at it. Especially during the summertime when they all start to come out, this is something that players, summertime can get kind of dull. Now they're on their own training, and they get these polls coming out saying, look, you're top 30, top 25, whatever it may be. And it adds a little more fuel to the fire for them to go out there and work harder and, come together as a unit. And so for players, there's no question it's big time. And even the coaches, I guarantee you, as much as they try to play it off, it is important to them. In fact, I remember my sophomore, junior, senior year when we were ranked at top 25. We come in on those Monday meetings, and Coach Minhall would throw it up on the PowerPoint. Up in our team meeting, he'd throw it up there and address it.
Interesting.
It is. It's funny because coaches, they always say, well, it's all about the next game. We don't pay attention to rankings. We just try to work on our game, on ourselves.
It's laughable.
It is, but I guarantee you, in their early Monday morning meeting, they're talking about it. And then later that day, when we meet as a team, he would show it each week to show us, look, we're climbing the polls. This is what we set out to accomplish. We want to go undefeated, whatever it may be. Back in my day, it was the BCS stuff, so it was important to be in the top 16, top 14 in the country. And so, no doubt that it plays an important part with both coaches and players.
Interesting. David Nixon is on BYU Sports Nation. How much did that play into your mentality, maybe confidence validated by something like that, or the desire to improve on that?
No, it really does. I mean, I remember when we were ranked top 25, all my last 3 years. When you walk into a stadium and you're ranked 16th, 17th, and you're playing an Air Force or somebody that's not ranked, I mean, you had that extra swagger walking in and saying, look, we're the big dogs. I mean, we're in the top 25, and so no doubt it adds a little bit of confidence to the team. And once again, it validates the hard work that you put in, and it validates all those long summer workouts, all that time you put into film, all those extra hours you organized, meetings with just the players, time they took out of possibly vacations, whatever it may be. It just goes towards validating all that hard work.
David Nixon, former NFL player and BYU great on BYU Sports Nation. Do you view these projections and preseason rankings any differently now as primarily an analyst as compared to when you were a player?
Not really. Probably because, I'm still somewhat close removed from the program. But, I think as an analyst, as a fan, but also as a player, once again, you realize how important they are. And this is something that BYU as a fan and as a player, you want some national recognition. And what you work so hard for that. Typically, it takes a while for BYU to get that national recognition. Most times we are underranked, I think, and we have to go out there and fight for it and prove to the national media that we deserve to be in the top 25. And so preseason to be in the mix around that top 25 range, it once again kind of gives some validity and it boosts your confidence to know that, look, we're in that talk. If we go out there and handle business, first, second, third weeks, we could be there in that top 25 and once again, you just keep rolling. And it's unfortunate that college football has kind of come to this, that it really is based on these rankings. I mean, with the BCS system, that's how it was. And even now, with the playoff system, you got this panel of supposed pros, people that know what they're talking about, experts. You've got the supposed panel that I guarantee you that they're paying attention solely to all these rankings. And so it really does play a huge part, a huge role in college football. And for that reason, it's good to be, at the forefront of it when the season begins. And then, of course, hopefully to try to ride that wave throughout the season.
It's no question that when you look at these preseason publications, your brother-in-law, Taysom Hill, is at the forefront of everything BYU. He's a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Regional cover, inset,
Yeah.
feature on Sporting News, stuff like that.
He's the hot topic for BYU in their preseason hype and publications. How does Taysom not pay attention to that stuff?
Yeah, I think he's obviously very aware of it. But one thing I've always been impressed with Taysom, and especially him obviously more now that he's family, is how level-headed he is. I mean, he understands that, look, these are just publications. There's a lot of hard work that has to go into it. But he also understands, look, this is a great platform for me to kind of get our team out there, to get some recognition. But he's a smart kid. He understands that it's going to take hard work to accomplish the goals they've got set. But there's no doubt that with him being the position he's in, it's going to give BYU a little more boost in the polls and help them out a little bit. But, he understands the work's got to be put in, and that all starts here in 94 days.
How does this stuff affect him? You said he's level-headed, but how does it affect him either way?
I haven't noticed much of a difference. I know when he got invited to that Peyton Manning passing camp, he was really excited about it. And it was something that he thought was, a great opportunity. But to show you how level-headed he is, we talked about it for a little while, and he said for a while there he kind of was questioning whether he should go or not because it meant that he was going to have to leave his team for 3 or 4 days. And during those summer workouts, during the month when he leaves, those are some crucial times, and those are some crucial hours that he won't get back with his team. But he felt in the end it would be the best to go out there and get coached by obviously some of the best pros in the game and be able to apply some of those techniques, to the team and hopefully help them out. But once again, he kind of struggled with it because he said, look, I'm going to be away from the team for 3 or 4 days. And he addressed them and explained to him his thoughts and why he was taking off. And, I think they're all in accordance with it. But once again, he was kind of conflicted because he is a team player.
And a reminder to people, the camp is July 10th through the 13th, Manning passing camp.
David Nixon on BYU
right
Sports Nation. Okay, let me ask you this. As a teammate, when you look at guys, well, you played with John Beck, and he took a lot of the preseason hype. So his teammates now view Taysom Hill getting all this attention and whatnot. What does that do to a team, if anything at all, when they have a quote-unquote star player taking the majority of this national attention?
Well, I think it's only positive. I look at when I was a defense player, like you said, John Beck and then Max Hall got a lot of recognition too, and I think it only gives the defensive guys more confidence that look, our offensive guys will take care of the ball and they're going to get the job done because they've got a great leader at the helm and a great athlete in this particular sense with Taysom. And then his players around him, their confidence rises for the fact that they know they have a stud throwing them the ball and kind of leading that offense too. So I think it only helps the players. And as far as recognition goes, I know some people get jealous maybe because of whatever the quarterback gets more attention, whatever it may be. But here at BYU, it's pretty standard to know that the quarterback's going to be the guy here at BYU, and it is what it is. But honestly, everyone gets tons of recognition when everyone's winning. So that's what everyone's goal should be, first and foremost. But whenever you have a guy like Taysom that's getting on the covers of magazines, things like that, it can only help the other players.
David Nixon is on BYU Sports Nation. David, in this era of Twitter and social media, it's a little different than maybe even when you played, which was just a few years ago, where now people can know information, any second. Something said, it spreads like wildfire among Cougar fans. How quickly does that spread into the locker room, whether it be positive or negative, for BYU fans, a la some announcement regarding the ACC or SEC or Taysom Hill recognized in something?
I mean, I think it spreads instantly. Those guys are going to hear it, and they're going to talk about it when they get into the locker room. And believe it or not, Taysom, guys like that, they read about those tweets that are tweeted at them. I remember Taysom saying after the Virginia game, he had some guys talking trash saying they wished he would, tear his other knee or something like that. I mean, they're just terrible stuff that was said to him. And so it goes to show you they actually read this stuff, and they're aware of it. But it's all about just kind of managing all those tweets, I guess you would say, or whatever the social media is, because you do have a lot of people that are uninformed, a lot of people that really don't know the game of football itself, kind of tweeting and making rash comments. So as a player, you have to kind of harness that and understand it is what it is. But they all have access to, all the ESPN guys, and they read exactly what's being tweeted out there. What we see is exactly what they see. So, once again, you have to realize that it really is within that locker room, that it's between you and your teammates. If you guys take care of business, then the rest will be kind of handled. So you just kind of have to brush to the side. But at the same time, they're reading what we're reading, and it can affect them, but you got to let it go.
David Nixon on BYU Sports Nation. There's this side topic that Bronco Mendenhall's brought up a few times when you talk about preseason stuff and hype, where he's like, I don't even think any team should be ranked until week number 7. Is that just a coach thing, or do you buy into that as a player too? Like, hey, let us play football for 6 weeks, and then let's reassess everything and re-rank. What do you think about that?
I actually kind of agree on that one. I think preseason rankings are just basically basing them off the returning seniors, right? You're looking back on who's returning. You don't really take into account, I think, a lot of other things that probably should be taken into account. You have a lot of incoming freshmen that people aren't quite sure if they'll be able to contribute or not. So I would agree. Maybe not week 6. Maybe give it, week 3 or 4. I don't know. I think maybe delaying a little bit would help for the fact that you have teams that are way overrated or underrated. And you look at BYU, if you're underrated, it can take you a while to crack that top 25 because you may have some teams that are overrated in there. But if you wait till week 3 or 4, you're going to look at those win-loss columns and, be able to easily decide where everyone should be. But I think for fans, it's fun to have these preseason rankings for topics of conversation just like we're having right now. And also just to have something to look forward to. And once again, I think for players, it's fun to have in the summertime that it's something they can work towards. They know that, look, we're at 23rd, 24th. We got to move on from here, and they work towards that. So I think it could go either way for sure.
And the College Football Playoff Committee will start a poll October 28th. So they're essentially going to do this. They're going to wait until the end of October. So that's after week, 7?
Yeah,
6 or 7?
Halfway through the season.
So that's essentially going to happen.
Hey, David, great to have you with us. Thanks for your opinions on preseason stuff and, more importantly, on Jarom Jordan's mustache.
Anytime, guys.
All right,
Thanks, David.
We'll talk to you soon.